Hello, Facebook family. I am excited to be back for another episode of Automotivated with John Burkhauser. JB, how are you today?
I'm doing well, and hello to everybody out there. It's always great to be online here with you, Shannon, because I think what we talk about is pretty important.
I think it's very important. And I think, maybe just you and I think we can be entertaining sometimes, but more importantly, we are providing value. That is what we are here to do.
And know what? It's the simple things that we're telling that provide that value. And, just like what we're going to talk about today, it's all in an approach.
Absolutely. And, when for our topic for today, we have all heard the answer no before. And as a service advisor in your shop, you might be hearing that often. No, we don't want to do this service. No, I don't think I need that for my vehicle. And it's a common conversation, and it's important for your team to know how to combat some of those no's, especially if this is something that's important for their vehicles. It's important. You're doing the sales when you're at the front desk.
Well, you're saying you have to know the no.
Know the no. Know the no. I like that.
I
We
do
need to
too.
change the title for this.
Right. But no, like a 3-year-old, all they know is no, 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 no. But anyway, the point being here is the no we're talking about is the customer saying that they don't want to have some kind of service or something that they need to get done. That's the no. And how can we overcome that? Well, as you mentioned, the people at the desk, they're salespeople, and your job is to present what the customer needs, explain to them why they need it, and then get them to say yes and take care of it. And there's a lot of little steps. I mean, if you look out there, there's different companies that will tell you all these steps that you should do as a salesperson at the desk to get that sale to happen. Well, one of the things that I think, Shayna, is that there's one other approach that has to happen.
And what's that?
Well, again, just like we've talked about before, digital inspections. Because, digital inspections aren't about only what you need today. And that's one of the things that gave inspections altogether a bad name. Because in the days with paper, as an advisor, I would just talk about the bad stuff and nothing about the good stuff or what's coming, because I knew that the bad stuff was the stuff we needed to sell today.
Yes.
But with a digital inspection, that changes, because now not only can we tell them what they need today, but we can prepare them for what they need tomorrow or next year or whatever. And we can also tell them what's good. And I think that's part of it. Being a salesperson is one thing, but educating a customer so that they understand and they expect what's coming next, I think is a big piece to it, because it's no longer a sales item. It's like, it's time to get it done. You ready?
Absolutely. And I think, we've talked about this time and time again. When it comes to the automotive industry, we are not always the industry that's looked at as reliable and trustworthy. And that's just the way it's been. But with tools like the digital vehicle inspection, you're educating. And that comes back to, that you always mention that you use the term educating. Rather than selling, you're helping them. You are empowering them to make the best decision for their vehicle by showing photos and videos and giving notes. And like you had said, not only showcasing what needs to be done and what needs to be taken care of today, but also what you need to prepare for in the future and what's good. And by being able to see the difference and see that history of their vehicle, they're that much more empowered to take on the recommendations, but then prepare for their next visit as well.
Seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. Absolutely.
And that's the other side of this, just as you mentioned. And this is why showing your customers the good stuff is important, because, if I put brakes on a vehicle today, I'm going to show them a picture of what the new brakes look like in any inspection. Because what's going to happen over time is that those brakes are going to wear out. And if I keep showing them that wearing down, just like you said, they can financially prepare for brakes. I mean, when it comes to tires, Shayna, they're not cheap. And they do last you a good long while. So when you go to a shop and they suddenly say you need $900 worth of tires, you're like, what? But if you came to JB Automotive, and what happens here is I've let you know, and I've shown you pictures 7, 6, 5, 4, as the tires wear down, so that when we get down to 2 and 3, or 3 and 2, I should say, it's not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you've made the plan to pay for them, or you've come up with an idea of how you're going to handle that. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces. If you educate, you don't have to sell. That's kind of the way I think. There's always going to be some selling on the side, don't get me wrong, but I think education builds trust,
Mm-hmm.
expectation, and there it's time to get it done.
And you know what? We've had this conversation a few weeks ago about the relationship and the conversations that you're having at the front desk. If it's not just something where people are cringing every time they go to that checkout process because they don't know what's coming, it's a conversation, and being able to be a reliable resource and help them through the process rather than that gut reaction of, oh, what am I going to look at when I look at the invoice? That helps build the relationship. It helps build the trust. And that's going to lead to a long time customer because they are comfortable coming to your shop and they now expect this in the future. It almost trains your customer on what is best for their vehicle.
Perfect. That's perfect, because you know what? We're trained at the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
You might, and I got to be careful when I say this, you may go and get your hair done once a month.
Mm-hmm.
You're trained to get your appointment and know what you're going to get next time you go in to get
Mm-hmm.
it done. Just like when I go to the dentist, they're going to tell me we're going to take videos. We're going to take x-rays next time you're in.
Yep.
Well, if we train our customers that are coming to our shops and put that in place, it's going to be as smooth as you going to the hairdresser and me going and get drilled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is how our industry is evolving. And I think one thing to really consider, once people expect this, it's hard to tolerate the way it used to be. And so this isn't just hey, Bolton has the tools to help you. This is really the evolution of the industry as we're
Mhm.
becoming more technically savvy and utilizing these tools, and these tools are now becoming the norm. So regardless of what digital vehicle inspection, software it is that you're using, like this is a progression of the industry. And if you are a step behind, your competitors now have an even stronger advantage to pull in your customers because of the experience. People are willing to drive for an experience. They are willing to invest for an experience. And if they are more confident in what they're investing in, then that's an easier sell for someone else.
Absolutely. I can't say it any better.
Mm-hmm. So, no, you're going to hear no, but when you have the tools behind you to help back why, then you're going to be able to alleviate some of those. I think they're oftentimes fears. I don't know about you. I mean, you've had the experience to be on both sides. Where do you think the no comes from most often? Is it
Well,
ignorance? Is it fear? Is it, oh my gosh, I don't want to take that much out of my wallet?
do we have another half hour? you know, but the no comes from a lot of different places: the distrust, the unknowing. Um, and there's so many things that feed into it that I think that the inspections being delivered and seeing the good, seeing it halfway there and telling it's coming, that is going to change a lot of the no's,
Hmm.
because now you know.
Now you know. Know the
Now
no.
there you go.
Well, JV, I mean, this one was a pretty short one, but I think it's pretty impactful because we gave what we feel are the best steps to combating any of those, uncomfortable conversations at the front desk. So I appreciate you joining me again today.
Well, you know what? Let me just throw one last thing in there, Shayna. As a salesperson, one of the toughest things, though, is to be a salesperson sometimes. And
Hmm.
what I want to share with people is that if you have this in place where you are building this relationship with your customers and they start trusting you and they come back to you whenever they come to the shop, they come right to you and all those things, it's not going to be sales anymore. It's going to
Hmm.
be somebody that you know, that someone that knows you, and they know that you have all the information about their car or their
Hmm.
vehicle, whatever it is. So sales becomes a small part of it because you've educated and they know what to expect.
Absolutely. No, I think that's huge. The expectations, set the expectations from the start, and empower your customers.
That's another big thing. Empower your customers.
Hmm. So let us know what some of the conversations you're having at your shop look like. You know, since implementing digital vehicle inspections, is that conversation easier? Do you have as many objections? We want to know what's going on at everyone's shop that's tuning in for us today. We want your feedback. We want to hear what it is that you're seeing. But JB, it's always a pleasure talking with you. We actually have a special guest on next week. The team from SiriusXM will be joining us.
Cool.
And then JB, you and I are back at it to start off May.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me, Shana, because we are both automotivated.
Oh, I messed it up that time. We're getting there. We're getting there. But yes, we are automotivated. We hope you are too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.